Employment Minister Randy Boissonnault's former company was awarded a federal contract earlier this year while he was still in office and held shares in the company.
Welcome back to Moose on the Loose. My name's David. In today's top stories, we've got Doug Ford absolutely destroying Justin Trudeau. He brings up his policies of what's going on there in Ontario with a safe supply, and he just rips him a new one. We got an update on the Randy Boissonnault situation, as well as some new polling data. So that's where we're going to start off today's episode. You can see here the Conservatives, Pierre Poilievre, absolutely dominating with projected 304 seats. The Liberals here sliding almost in third place, which could potentially kick them down to fourth place, just ahead of the Greens. Like, we're talking a difference here of 20 seats. They would be sitting next to the Greens. So how the Liberals have fallen here from power. Nice to see Jagmeet in fourth. So people pointing out Jagmeet below the block. Next up, we got this clip here. It says wrong way drivers spotted in Toronto. And if we look here, we're talking about this. So look right at the top here. The flow of the traffic is going this way. People are turning right and driving backwards onto the on-ramp. This is an on-ramp that goes this way onto the highway. So somebody started doing this and then people just started copying them and now they're going outwards. And you can see these people are probably confused, like, what is going on? Why are there people driving down the on-ramp? As this person pointed out, they're avoiding a traffic jam. Not saying it's right, but look at the video closely. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. If is this not necessarily newcomers not knowing how to drive in this country, but it's probably people saw this major traffic jam up here, which I see it. Yeah, you can see at the end of the video, and they're like, nah, I'm out of here. But then this just further messes up the roads. We got this post here. It says Ontario Food Bank forced to turn clients away due to high demand. That's the state of Canada. Salvation Army Food Bank in Brant County was forced to temporarily shut down for a day after its Paris, Ontario location ran out of donations. There's no more food at the food bank in Canada because there's too many people in poverty in Justin Trudeau's Canada. 1 out of 4 Canadians, 25% of Canadians, that's over 10 million Canadians are living in poverty in Canada today. There's a lot of problems we're having in Canada with the newcomers that Justin Trudeau is bringing in. Not all the other ones, the immigrants and people that were brought in before in Harper's time, in Chrétien's time, and all the other prime ministers' time, but Justin Trudeau, because he's let in the worst of the worst people into our country. And this is one of them. You've got a bunch of these old, greasy, gross men sitting in a park, taking videos of girls in a park.
Oh, no.
What are we doing, guys?
Oh, no.
Yeah?
No.
Just enjoying what?
Here for picnic.
Picnic.
Yeah.
Where's your picnic stuff, guys?
In the car.
In the car.
Yeah.
Right. You're here for a picnic?
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
You know what you're doing. I'm looking at you. The guy with the camera? Yeah, you right there. Yeah, can I see the videos?
Yeah.
Show me the videos.
Okay.
No, I'm serious. Are you deleting them right now? Is that what you're doing, guys?
This is private. What do you think we would work?
You know exactly what you're doing. You're creeping all the girls here. I watched you guys. I watched this guy. I watched him watching my daughters with his camera.
Okay, sorry.
No. You don't come to a beach and videotape the girls. You know exactly. You can delete them all you want, but I got you guys on film now. Okay?
Sorry, this is...
No.
This is just sick. These guys are gross. This is behavior that should put them in jail. This lady here said this was in Barrie, Ontario. This was filmed. These sort of things are common in Ontario now at parks, beaches, and pools. Canada is falling quicker than the UK. This is what our governments are letting into the country by the plane load. Exactly. They're not vetting these people, bringing in just this filth. Next up, we got Doug Ford absolutely going off on Trudeau and the Liberal government. He does not hold back here.
Obviously, there's a number of questions from my colleagues and I about the announcement yesterday regarding the safe consumption sites. At this point, it sounds as though you want them to make the transition into the heart hubs, as has been announced as well. Just curious what your thoughts are. How do people who refuse treatment go about making that transition themselves? How do you get them into programs and services that you want them to get into?
Well, you know something, I just don't believe these safe consumption sites. I've listened to the people in the neighborhoods. I've consulted with them. I've been getting endless phone calls about needles being in the parks. Needles being by the schools and by the daycare. That's unacceptable. What we believe in these heart hubs is we're putting $378 million into supporting people with primary care, mental health services, addiction care and support, social services, employment support, shelter and transition beds, supportive housing and other supplies and services, including naloxone and on-site showers. So, you know, giving someone, an addict, a place to do their injections, we haven't seen it get better. This was supposed to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's the worst thing that could ever happen to a community to have one of these safe injection sites in their neighborhood. The other problem I have was with the federal government. You know, safe supply. They get to go up there and get endless amounts of drugs. And guess what they do? They go out and they sell it and get other people addicted. And then they go and get even stronger drugs. But as far as I'm concerned, the federal government's the biggest drug dealer in the entire country. It's unacceptable. It needs to stop. We need to get rid of safe supply. We need to put money into treatment, detox beds. That's what we need to do, not continue to giving people free drugs.
Yeah, that's well said. The federal government is the biggest D-word dealer. I mean, it's true. The safe supply system is just broken. This was born from the NDP here in BC, David Eby, and it's been an absolute disaster. I have some photos and clips, but I decided I just can't share them because the algorithm doesn't like showing those things. But you got the pointy things laying in playgrounds and all that kind of stuff. What parent would allow their children to crawl around on their hands and knees when there's knowingly pointy things in the sand, in the dirt, in the grass, at playgrounds and parks? Like, no parent is going to risk that because they don't want their kid to get some untreatable disease and have some lifelong effects, negative effects, because Trudeau Liberal government allowed these terrible policies to ruin these, what should be safe places for kids to play, for hospitals, for all these places where there should not be people openly using their
Really quickly on another matter, a few weeks ago, City News had a story that's including exclusive video of an undercover police officer while a takedown was taking place, coming out of nowhere and taking down someone, a bystander, and seriously injuring them. Just looking for your thoughts on that matter and whether or not you think the officer involved should be disciplined in any way.
Well, I never heard about it. It's the first time I've heard about it, and I don't want to comment until I get full details from the police. You know, policing is one of the toughest jobs out there. It's the only profession, and we saw this over the last year when police officers were getting ambushed, killed, and look at their families now. They're devastated. They put their lives on the line for us every single day. When you're in trouble, you know, you aren't calling Mary Poppins, you're calling the police to come here and support you and put their lives on the line. So I support our police 1,000%.
If you didn't see that video, basically there was a couple of guys standing around bystanders, and the cop comes by and just full on Goldberg slams the guy, like knocks him out, slams him onto the ground. It was aggressive. It was uncalled for. The guy wasn't posing a threat or anything. It was a ridiculous situation by the cops. But Doug Ford's right. Policing is a hard job in this country, especially today when cops have to go catch criminals and then the criminals just get let out. They never go into the jail and they can go out and steal another car. You hear the stories of this. They're in the court, they get out, they steal a car in the parking lot of the court that they just were let out of. It's so stupid. Our country is just beyond broken at this point.
Premier Eric Viano, CHCH News. Just going back to the safe injection sites, there's one that's going to be closing in Hamilton. Many people with addictions also face homelessness. There's concerns that there's going to be deaths and visible drug use in the streets. What are your response to those concerns?
Well, that's why we're investing $378 million to find people shelter, to get them help, to have primary care, mental health services, addictions and care support, and housing, and shelter to transition beds. That's what we need to do. To support these people, you don't give them more drugs.
This is the exact same plan that Pierre Poilievre has, where it's help support these people, help them get off their drugs, help them get the treatment they need, versus just giving them a place to just continually use the endless supply of hard candy that the government gives them. The government system here is completely broken and doesn't work. So it's good to see Doug Ford having the right approach here, which is the same that Pierre Poilievre wants to basically fix this major problem in Canada.
Mayor Wood, just one more separate. There are reports that there could be an election in the fall. Are you preparing for a fall election?
No.
Next reporter. Hopefully I'll get an answer that's more than a word for this one. It's Lorenda from CBC
Spicy
News.
CBC.
Your government looked for expert advice on consumption and treatment services. 2 reports have now been added to the government's webpage. They don't recommend closing the Leslieville site. One even recommends expanding consumption and treatment services. So why are you going against expert advice?
Well, first of all, what they forgot to say is public consultation. And I was just wondering how you would feel if I stuck one of these beside your house. You wouldn't like it. Matter of fact, I know you wouldn't like it, neither would your neighbors and neither would anyone else. And all the kids, they shouldn't be by schools. They shouldn't be by daycares. And we're going to put more money in for these heart hubs that are going to support people the right way. Not give them a free place where all the drug dealers live. And in Leslieville, endless calls nonstop on my cell phone about thank you for doing this. And we are going to support these people that have issues and addictions. We're going to support them better than ever before. That's what we need to do. There's no place for this.
Next up, we've got an update to the Randy Boissonnault situation with his, as it says here, shady business scandal. He's basically self-serving contracts to his 2-person company. It's been found out, it's been exposed, and it doesn't look good for Randy Boissonnault.
There are questions tonight about a federal cabinet minister potentially breaching ethics rules. Global News has found Employment Minister Randy Boissonnault's former company was awarded a federal contract earlier this year while he was still in office and held shares in the company. Krista Hesse has been investigating Boissonnault's business dealings. Krista.
Donna, we've learned that Global Health Imports, a medical supply company Boissonnault co-founded, received a contract from Elections Canada in January. At the time, Boissonnault owned a 50% stake in the business. Generally, ethics rules allow ministers to have shares in private companies as long as those companies do not obtain federal contracts.
Section 13 sub 2 says clearly.
Public law expert Ian Stedman told Global News the minister appears to be in violation of the Conflict of Interest Act, but said ultimately it is up to the interpretation of Canada's Ethics Commissioner.
If it does apply, then I think you have a real conundrum for Mr. Boissonnault.
The Act contains an exemption to this rule if the Ethics Commissioner decides the contract or interest is unlikely to affect the minister's official duties. The Commissioner's office said it could not comment on Global News' findings due to confidentiality.
Boissonnault's office said he was not involved with this contract and had no knowledge that Global Health Imports, or GHI, had bid on it, adding that the minister stepped down from any operational role with GHI after his election in 2021. And has not been involved with any contracts obtained by GHI since then. His office argued the exemption should apply. Elections Canada awarded GHI a $28,000 contract to supply disposable gloves. The contract is active, Elections Canada said, but no orders or payments have been made.
Minister Boissonnault doesn't himself have to receive the benefit, but the corporation that he has an interest in has to benefit.
Stedman says the benefit could simply be the contract itself.
I wrote to Mr. Boissonnault again yesterday.
After deciding not to launch a formal investigation into Boissonnault in June, 2 weeks ago, Canada's Ethics Commissioner said he is reopening his case file over new texts Boissonnault's former business partner sent in 2022.
This guy is so corrupt and caught red-handed. Look at this. I have Randy. This is the whole Randy scandal. Oh, it's not Randy. Which Randy? Was it the other Randy that set up these contracts? The whole thing is an absolute joke. You can see I already have updated everyone with what you mentioned, and they agree to give you until tomorrow. It was only Randy who was on leaning away. I updated Randy, Shauna, Felix, and our CFO. I'm sending an email to Randy and Felix right now, but I know if I send this, we'll miss tomorrow. It will be done. They'll have a partner vote on this. Asking as West Coast is closing in 7 minutes, and Randy's in the Vancouver office.
Citing communications with someone named Randy. Both Boissonnault and his business partner deny Boissonnault is the Randy in the text.
That business is rewarded.
Tory ethics critic Michael Barrett called on the ethics commissioner to investigate the contract.
Randy Boissonnault shouldn't be serving in the federal cabinet if he's found guilty of breaking Canada's ethics laws.
Boissonnault surrendered his shares in GHI in June after Global News reported on the text messages and lawsuits against the company. Courts have ordered GHI to pay 6 companies nearly $8 million to date. None of the lawsuits name Boissonnault, and he maintains he has had nothing to do with the company since he was re-elected.
What a scam. So Stephen Anderson, it's all his fault now, his business partner? Or is it the other Randy that's involved? This is such a scandal. Randy Boissonnault needs to go to jail for this. Let's just call it as it is. Next up, we got this post by Nita Nand. This is one of Justin Trudeau's ministers. You can see here with just this cheesy thing is basically, let's say she's talking about door knocking. Out and about in beautiful Oakville this morning, Liberal Party, go door knocking. Yeah, right. You guys aren't door knocking nothing. This just reminds me, though, of Anita Nand's post from before, this one, where she stood here smiling in front of the food bank. Like, seriously, door knocking? You think anyone is going to give you support after this? Just looking in the comments here, people post everything. Anand's husband's company pocketed massive C-word cash. Like, you just get... you can't put this past Canadians. Someone else posted this one, $68 million to LifeLab, who's owned by the same company her husband works for. And here's someone posting one I just showed with the food bank. We got this post here. This may not look like Canada, but this is Canada today. So I'm gonna mute this stuff, but basically this is in Mississauga. Today they call for the Antifada, which means the indiscriminate T word, pterodactyls. This is just justification for attacking synagogues. And Justin Trudeau is bringing to Canada Hamas supporters from Gaza. So Canada is bringing a lot of people in from Gaza. Whether those people are in this group, I don't know, but there's a lot of people here. They're taking over our streets. You guys need to wave some Canadian flags if you want to be in this country. Come on. There's no patriotic pride for our country that just lets you in. This is ridiculous. Quite an interesting clip here it's a soundbite of Donald Trump talking about an invasion from Canada.
It's an invasion of our country taking place at our border, our southern border. It's a total invasion. And now it's starting at our northern border also, through Canada. And she didn't talk about any of that because she talks, but she doesn't do. It's no action. But, look, other than that, it was a nice-looking room.
Donald Trump is 100% correct here. People are coming into Canada. They can then much more easily get into America from here. So that's what they're doing. Because Justin Trudeau lets in anyone here. Somebody replied with this. It says, Canada begins construction of a wall at the Canada-U.S. border. That's like a beaver. Jumping over to my group, let's see what memes we got today. First, we got this. It says news content can't be shared in Canada in response to Canadian government legislation. News content may not be shared. So Miriam here said, have I been living under a rock or is this new? In any case, that's revolting. So yeah, this has been going on for about a year. Facebook, Trudeau cracked down on this. Facebook is not having it. So they just removed all the news in Canada. This is absolutely absurd if you think about it. This potato is delicious. I'll save one for Jagmeat. There's a lot of Jagmeat apple potato jokes going around right now. Mardi Gras in Saskatchewan. Here's a map showing the only place my taxes should go. Yes, not all the rest of these countries, just this one. Agreed. Trudeau Liberal Justice Minister Arif Virani says that putting Canadians under house arrest on suspicion that they may commit a crime in the future will help to de-radicalize people who are learning things online. This is Minority Report. Just go watch that movie. That's exactly what this is. It's putting people in jail for future crimes. The crimes that didn't commit, just they think they'll commit. This is stupid. Unless there's some sort of crazy brain scanning technology that can prove something, we don't have that technology. That's not today, maybe in 100 years or something, but he should be put in jail for even suggesting this kind of rule of law. We've got this one here. It says, I made that very clear to Justin Trudeau. I looked him right in the eyes and said, whatever it takes to get my pension. Yeah. Sell out, saying everyone. Liberals banning these word products. I can't say that on this channel. Weird enough. Banning those products. But wait, you made it legal to buy, this word, C word products. Not to mention they give out all the free, safe supply stuff. Like, what is going on? You can't even make up how stupid everything is. They're banning the flavored N-word stuff here, but you can go get free safe supply. Like camping in Kitchener-Waterloo.
Now, the people in this beautiful part of the country know firsthand how great it is to spend your weekends camping. The joy of roasting marshmallows with the kids or jumping into the lake on a hot summer day, you just can't beat it. But not all Canadians are so lucky. And we want to change that.
The next song is called No One Cares About Your Preferred Pronouns. Me sitting quietly watching another episode of Diversity is Our Strength. Hauling political promises. So we got this post here. Apparently this guy's telling other people from India how to get free food at Canadian food banks. This is, you know, these guys not learn what happened to the other guy. You do not do that in this country. You get chewed up and spit out by the citizens of this country by doing that. The media, people that trust the media. It's been one failed policy from another from the Trudeau Liberals. The safe supply is just another one in the bucket. Doug Ford is doing something about it in Ontario, but it's now up to the people of BC come October 19th this year to vote the NDP out. David Eby, get rid of this experiment out of our country.